Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arinjay Singhai, and I'm dissatisfied with a lot of things, but particularly so with the ways in which our school is conventionally described, because there's simply not much that really consummately captures what goes down on a UWC campus. But if there's anything that I learned from standard level Langlit, it's that if a metaphor doesn't exist in the text, just make one up and analyze it anyway. So here I am. As such, I'd like to talk to you today about an unsung hero of UWCSEA's cultural heritage. Something very old, something historic, and something utterly analogous to what we do, what we believe in, and what we stand for. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes talking about Dudley Finter. But sadly, for all of us, you are mistaken. So let me be that guy and ask, what is the epitome of our school? The epitome of our school, ladies and gentlemen, is the noble sport of handball. Many of you will be familiar with handball, but for those who spent so long in Sodexo queues that they never got to play, thank you very much, Student Council, allow me to explain this little analogy. Handball is a game with 2 lines drawn to create 4 squares. Introduce a tennis ball into the equation, and you have pretty much what you would get if chess, tennis, and Indian television were fused. The objective is to slap the ball into the other squares. Juvenile violence and theatricality aside, handball is analogous to the Dover experience on many levels. For one, its very premise is working tirelessly to cross divides and transcend borders. Langlit, come on, guys. Waiting in line taught us patience and respect. Scraping our fingers to return shots taught us sacrifice and tenacity. And aiming for the top of the grid had a funny way of illustrating that ambition can never exist without collaboration. Most of all, though, handball is symbolic of the ownership we take over our education. Ask any kid on the playground who invented handball, and you'll get varied responses. Some will claim that they themselves invented it. Others think that this is what Kurt Hahn actually meant by round square. And yet others will just throw objects at you until you move off the court, as happened to me yesterday. 2 things, though, are incontestable. The first is that handball, like UWCSEA, was born and will always exist in its best form at 1207 Dover Road, and not on the east side of the island. And the second is, of course, that each generation has its own interpretation of the game. Class of 2018, our version of handball will be the stuff of legends. We make the best music, we play the best sports, and we choreograph the best dances. Among us are future and current Olympians, meme producers, and mathematicians alike, but that's not even what makes us special. Our version of handball is special because we play it with smiles on our faces. Whether in applying to colleges or suffering through exams, we've done it with an unwavering sense of humor. We take ourselves lightly and our purpose at the school and beyond seriously, and there's no competition with anyone except ourselves. Those amongst us who are meant to be rivals, those enemies, my best friend is supposed to be my mortal enemy, but we are best friends at the end of the day. That symbolizes the UWC experience. Look around you, ladies and gentlemen. Take one moment. I'm going to stand here awkwardly while you take one moment. Just breathe it all in. I mean, this is NUS. Feel free to forget this place, but look around and take it all in one last time, what it means to be part of this special group. I think that's something incredible. Feel free. Not a day goes by, ladies and gentlemen, when it doesn't feel like we're in this together. And I'm aware that I use present tense when I say that, because that's never going to change. If anyone can manage to do long distance in college, it's us. It's us. It's always going to be us. Anyway, if you think I've given up on my handball metaphor, I haven't, because the fact that a school dedicates land to drawing a bunch of weird white lines on a playground says it all. UWCSEA, ladies and gentlemen, has grown up around us, and it is our playful ingenuity that has made it what it is. Whether through the things that we founded or simply how we've impacted the grades below, our legacy will stick around and adorn the best school in the world for the rest of our lives. Now, I issue a disclaimer here. I don't have anyone to suck up to. Kurt Hahn is not listening to me, and I'm not being paid to say this. But if we are not the best school, then we are certainly unique. We elevate the less fortunate, constantly aware that the cure to cancer could be trapped inside the mind of a child who doesn't know how to verbalize it. We inspire the fortunate, a demographic of which we are part, into realizing that we have a greater purpose than flexing the name on the back of our UWC jumper. We have a responsibility to the little blue and green globes that are on the front. So no matter where you go, who you encounter, and where they come from, you should never feel intimidated. UWC captures the essence of education, and we, the class of 2018 and the students at large, are the essence of UWC. So never forget this place, and never forget each other. Never forget the friends you've made. And in particular, they're not weirdly just gazing upon us as we have our own graduation ceremony. They're our friends who we've known for a fairly long time who deserve a little thank you this afternoon, and that's our parents. At some point 18 years ago, we sort of just showed up and we flipped their lives upside down. We arrived home with a name, a propensity for random crying that would only worsen during our IB years, and maybe a blanket or something, but definitely no operating manual. Yet if we look at where we're sitting now, the fact that we're sitting here at all, and reflect on the ridiculous amounts of love and support that we've gotten from them, even, and in fact, especially when we haven't deserved it, we'll see that this is probably the biggest thank you and the hardest goodbye that we have to make. So if I could please ask you for an element of interaction, which I was told to include in my speech, please, if I could ask you to take a moment to stand up, to turn around, to try and find your parents or someone's parents and give them a huge round of applause and thank them. Dover class of 2018, we are products of the teachers, the families, and the friends who've shown us how to learn, how to teach, how to serve, how to make mistakes, and how to bounce back from those mistakes. So while personally it's been a huge honor for me to be able to verbalize my thoughts in front of all of you this afternoon, this speech, this message, and these words, they're certainly not mine. They're your words. So obviously if you didn't find any of the jokes funny, that's on you. Dover class of 2018, I can't give you advice because in a very weird way, like Mr. Edwards alluded to earlier, I'm in the audience with all of you, and I'm as excited for the journey that's coming. But all I can say is, wherever you go, keep playing handball. Don't forget to call your mom. I definitely won't after that. And don't grow up too quickly. Thank you. I love you all to bits, and congratulations.